TSUKIPRO the animation, because why not? He's aggressive in his delivery, he still packs a lot of power and he still is charismatic, but he's not as raw and violent as he was when the band started or the project started. So this is a really good showcase of growth. Of course, sign me up. Best of July 2024, and of course we start with TSUKIPRO the animation, because why not?
何年ぶりだって変わんない当たり前みたいに遊んで互いのことは誰よりわかるから My friend forever
Now, this CD is a compilation of the songs released in TSUKIPRO the Animation, the first anime series, which was a long time ago, but only now the CD found its way to our hands. And if you missed the insert songs in that specific anime series, and especially because the songs were amazing, this is your first real attempt at getting those in a physical version. The songs in the TSUKIPRO franchise are available on streaming platforms right now for free, so go check those out on YouTube Music or Spotify, for example, because the CDs are available finally. And in this case, TSUKIPRO the animation, the CD in specific, is available and it's amazing. It has some of the best songs by Solids. Okarama is in there, Venga is in there, Back on Track, which is my favorite song of theirs, is in there. But there's plenty of awesome songs in there, especially Friend by Soara. It's one of my favorite songs of theirs. Beautiful, emotional, really a song that showed that the group has potential to deliver mature style of songs, and at that time Soara was not releasing mature type of songs like they are right now. They have a matured pop rock sound at the moment. But back then they were still having that happy-go-lucky, energetic, youthful sound, and Friend was a bit different from usual, and it was really sweet, really emotional, and the type of song that I was really excited about, because Soara being emotional with so many amazing singers in that lineup, of course, sign me up. I love them a whole lot. I love this franchise a whole lot. This is a CD that I wanted to talk about because I feel that people don't pay too much attention to the TSUKIPRO franchise, given that this is a franchise that has been around for a long time. Some of you are finding the franchise right now and find it overwhelming to see so many songs to basically have to catch up with. And 4 groups that are really amazing. The SQ groups, Solids and Quell, and the Alive groups, the Growth and Soara lineups. So we have 4 amazing groups, 2 amazing composers. We have Hama Takeshi in charge of Quell only, and John-san in charge of Solids, Soara and Growth. And this is amazing. The consistency that you get by having 2 composers working with the franchise from start to finish without bringing any guest composers or without any collaborations or any whatevers, it is something that gives a longevity to a franchise and makes it so that the franchise can grow older and evolve and mature as time passes, because the composers know the groups inside out. They know their growth and they have been there since the start. Of course, it justifies them being there and deliver even more and even better quality of the songs as time passes. This is a CD that sounds really nostalgic to me because I was a big fan of the TSUKIPRO anime series, although it is not a fantastic anime. I feel that the songs were outstanding, really the highlight in that series, and especially Solids. Solids managed to release 3 songs and the songs were amazing. To this day, I still call it the Holy Tetralogy, which was a really odd nickname that I gave to that specific set of songs, but those still are amazing. The group has changed so much over the years, and right now they have a really emotional, even jazz sound in there, ballads even. But at the time they didn't have that at all. They were still just the sexy group in the TSUKIPRO franchise. But they were showing a bit more. Okarama is a beautiful song, a mix of pop, rock, and traditional Japanese music. Back on Track is a really groovy tune, and it has Tsubasa Okui as the leading vocal. Tsubasa Okui is voiced by Soma Saito, so of course I am really excited about it. And then we have Venga, for example, in which Soma Saito and Natsuki Hanae lead the way. It's a powerful song, ridiculously good. And really, you have a set of songs, and I'm not going to talk only about solids. We have Quell in there with Above the Best, which is another song which is really amazing. There's a lot of quality in there, with Growth and even with Sawara. So this is a CD that I fully recommend you to check, because as a whole it encompasses the quality of the music that we got in that anime series. And even if you didn't check that anime series or didn't get the Blu-rays in which the songs were inserted as a bonus, this is the very first time that you can get the full songs for yourself in a physical version or on a streaming platform. So do check those if you can. It's more than worth it to check, because it's free right now. And if you want to support the franchise, you can also purchase the CD. It is a neat way to encompass everything that is the quality music that series, that anime series had. And honestly, when I look back at it and listen to those songs, I still love those songs a whole lot. It's a testament that the time has passed in the franchise. It is a franchise that has almost 10 years, and they still consistently sound good. And as time passes, their music doesn't sound dated, which is really unbelievably good and rare to the music franchise, to have a sound that really works across ages and actually fits well and sounds well. It's not that cheesy, although Solids is a bit cheesy, and especially in that era, they were a bit cheesy from time to time. But it is really good to find those songs in there and finally see people getting their hands into those songs and experience those perhaps for the very first time in full version. So I'm quite excited about that, and I hope that this is a big way to bring in more people to like the franchise. I hope my senses are wrong in these, because when I see compilation albums, I always get stressed out about, is this the end? Are they compiling the songs because this is the end? I hope not. But a part of me usually reacts really badly to the idea of a compilation album or a best-of is going to be released. Is it really just a compilation or a best-of album, or are we silently bidding goodbye? Because this happened, for example, with the Perfection Noise franchise, so I doubt these a lot now that it happens. But still, this is a TSUKIPRO franchise, and we are going to get new music, so do not worry. It's just my head playing tricks on me, because I've been burnt before because of 2D music projects that announced a best-of album and soon after disappeared. So yeah, this is a CD that I'm really excited about you guys checking, and I would love to know what you think about it. And of course, the best entry in July 2024 is KAGARIBI's Fushichou. I mentioned in the previous episode I was quite excited, and I still am quite excited about KAGARIBI's Fushichou. However, although this is the best entry in July 2024, mind you, this is not the best entry in the headliner CD series, in the Dear Vocalist franchise. These are two completely different things. The best entry so far in the Dear Vocalist franchise in the specific headliner series is Brave Child's Himitsu. But in this month, the best entry or the best CD is Kagaribi's Fushichou, and this is a CD that has a couple of surprises going on in there. For starters, Kagaribi has the heaviest, most violent sound in the Dear Vocalist franchise. They are really my taste. They are aggressive. They have riveting drums. They have shredding guitars. The vocals are raw and aggressive, although most of the times, if you pay closer attention to the lyrics, it's basically Judah proclaiming his love for his significant other, although the songs are quite aggressive. But up until now, the band was all about these, and they had a couple of instances. For example, we Disappeared, which was more of sort of a ballad, but not necessarily a ballad. It was a bit more electronic, driven, still rock. But in this case, we got completely different things here with Fushichou and Boy. Fushichou, for example, is a rock tune. It is really interesting. It has that aggression that you know about Kagaribi. However, with the caveat that the sound may sound aggressive, but the lyrics are so obviously romantic that right now we sound softer in his delivery. So this was something that I mentioned in the review, is that he sounds softer in his performance, Judah. In this case, Soma Saito has had to adapt his singing from that edgy, almost faux baritone voice that he had when he started voicing Judah, and basically morphing it into a softer delivery right now as a singer. And he sounds closest to his normal singing voice as a solo artist than he did when he started working as Judah and giving voice to Judah. So this is quite interesting, and I mentioned this in the review, which I found basically to be another showcase of growth, because in some way Judah was so edgy and so aggressive because he was trying to manage anger management issues. He had those when he started, and for 3-4 CDs he was having massive problems with anger management. But as soon as he started to feel closest to his significant other and open up a lot and really fall head over heels for his significant other, he started to change, and he started to be more careful, and he started to avoid being violent and experiencing or basically putting outside or putting down there his aggression, or delivering everything with aggression to the others around him. He's more careful right now, and you know that he's more careful and pensive, and he actually takes time to think that, does it make any sense for me to be aggressive right now? Should I even lose my time being aggressive? Does that person even deserve to have me being aggressive towards them? So he now is more pensive. He managed to control that, and it shows in his music. He's not as aggressive in his delivery. He still packs a lot of power, and he still is charismatic, but he's not as raw and violent as he was when the band started, or the project started. So this is a really good showcase of growth. At the same time, I've mentioned in the two previous releases by Kagaribi that Judah is actually really open about love and about him being head over heels about his significant other. He's obvious about that in all his songs. All his songs are a declaration of love for that person, in case you haven't noticed. So he's the most romantic out of everyone in the Dear Vocalist franchise. He's the most straightforward as well. And yet again, he was quite straightforward in Fushichou. He's talking about the future and being reborn. So this is quite interesting because he's mentioning his love for you. He's actually pretty open about talking about his love for you, the listener, in case you have the drama CDs. And on the other hand, we have Boy. This is a song that I was not expecting at all. As I mentioned, they are the heaviest band in the Dear Vocalist franchise, so their sound is aggressive, their drums are riveting, the guitars are shredding. So why is Boy so groovy? Because the song is groovy. It brings a lot of elements from disco music in a way. The bass line is punchy and leads the way. The guitars are really funky, the piano is jaunty, and Soma Saito is actually performing as Judah, of course, in a really energetic way, which is odd for Judah. But then again, if you pay close attention to the lyrics, they are romantic, yes, yet again. So this is another side of Judah that perhaps is unlocked due to some specific event within the CD. I have yet to listen to the drama CD. I was waiting to listen to the songs first, because when you are listening to the drama CD, a part of the song is going to be premiered, and I didn't want to spoil that for me. So now that I have wrapped up listening to the songs, I'm going to dive into the drama CD, and this is going to be interesting. So I'm really excited about what we got in there, and honestly, I want to see what happens in the drama CD. I'm really into that story. Right now I'm feeling that story as if I am his significant other. So I want to see where the story takes us next, and see, especially because, mind you, in this season of the Dear Vocalist franchise, we actually have a big change. We have a different scenario writer. So right now the stories in the Headliner series are completely written in-house by someone from Reject, not someone which was working outside of Reject, but to Reject. Right now it is within Reject, someone writing for this franchise. So there's something that is going to change intrinsically about the story. I haven't checked the drama CDs from the other two bands, because up until now, well, I haven't purchased those CDs. I have those in my backlog to purchase, potentially for cheap a bit later down the timeline, because if I have everything from the Dear Vocalist franchise, and you already know that I have some CDs, if I get everything from the Dear Vocalist franchise, I will be broke. So I will have to wait a little bit to get those drama CDs from those bands, but I have purchased of course the songs from now available on Autotoy. In this case, for these, because Judah is my favorite character, once again, you know that this is my favorite character because you've seen the massive collection of merchandise that I have of Judah, especially the pillows. But yeah, I do have a lot of merchandise of Judah, and I am a big fan of his, so I had to get the CD, of course. Well, all in all, when we look at Judah's, or in this case Kagaribi's Fushichou, there's a lot of things different going on in here, especially the funky, groovy stylings of Boy, and how Fushichou, the title track, is actually quite soft despite the fact that it is quite violent. The lyrics are romantic as always, and this is a side of Judah that I love a whole lot. Now that even he has reined in his anger management, or has reined in his anger and no longer needs to do management, he is the sweetest right now in the franchise, which is odd to say, because once again he has that edgy vibe, and he still is quite aggressive towards his guitarist, but you have noticed his growth a whole lot throughout the music, and right now in the 8th season he sounds like he has matured even more. So he's even more mature, more emotional, and the music reflects that. When it comes to the drama CD, I will have to check. I'm quite curious to see what he has there to offer and where the story takes us next. So this was basically my 2 entries in the best of July 2024. And now let's go to your suggestions of the best CDs released in July 2024. So let's check those out. We have a lot of people this time around, so let's be selective about this. Thank you very much as well to everyone who participated. I'm going to go through your comments really fast because I found that all 4 are really worth mentioning, and you guys actually didn't overlap, because if you had overlapped I was going to choose one or the other, not everyone, but in this case all four of you actually said different things. So let's talk about those. First of all, we have Emerald, and Emerald says, I know Loulou Choose was technically released in June, but I had to wait until July to just listen to it on Spotify. Loulou album was my favorite because of how emotional it was. Perhaps people who don't know anything about the franchise could still listen to Dream Eden and Above the Sky and tear up, cause it's just that moving. I shed a few tears listening to Dream Eden, cause it really was a proper song for the group. It's a song that makes you go, it really was the end. Thanks for all you've done so far. I wonder if it was intentional that the first song Loulou sang was Empty Dream, and now this song is titled Dream Eden. In a way, Emerald, I don't know when you actually posted. I do know when you posted the song, the comments. It was by the end of July. I don't know if it was before Amagiri Production actually confirmed that they were temporarily on a hiatus. So this is not necessarily the end, unless I have misunderstood it. So yeah, to confirm if I'm wrong or not, but the press release that they delivered says temporary hiatus. So this is not necessarily the end. I actually have a completely different opinion to yours, Emerald, about Loulou Choose. I do know that this is a really emotional album. In a way, Dream Eden is the most emotional song in the CD, but I felt that the CD as a whole lacked something. This was not necessarily a CD that you could say, if you removed the vocals, this is a Loulou CD, because it doesn't sound like a Loulou CD. So this was something that threw me off completely to begin with. And when it comes to the technicality on the vocals, I felt that it was missing something. Still, I can understand your feelings about these being quite emotional and even shedding tears with Dream Eden. This actually happened to me with Abortive Flower when I was reviewing it. So, in a way, I can understand why this song actually clicked with you, because when I was reviewing a couple of CDs back, Abortive Flower, I reacted in a similar way because I felt that CD actually felt like the last one. So this is a bit of a tangent of mine going on in here. But yeah, I feel a bit differently about the CD, but then again, all perspectives are valid and all perspectives are unique, because we are completely different individuals and we approach music in completely different ways because of our different experiences and tastes and the way we are clicking with the story, which is different. Which in my case, I was not clicking with the story because I was not checking the story. So the way that I approached the music was less emotional than, of course, you. I will assume that you have been following the story closely. That's why you actually arrived to Dream Eden and you were quite emotional, because this was a ride for you. This, for me, was not necessarily a ride in terms of the story, but the storytelling of the music, which is completely different. That's why I have a completely different approach to this CD than many fans of the franchise. Thank you very much for your comment, Emerald. At least get your hopes up if everything is right in my translation of that press release. It is a temporary hiatus for Loulou because they are resting. So hopefully they will be back. So that's the good news. In another way, we have a comment by Naz. Welcome back, Naz. It's been a while since I've seen you here in the comments. Naz says, getting back on my seiyuu listening grind by listening to Soma Saito's pre-release tracks for his upcoming album. I'm aware that people may not want to be spoiled, so I'll just say that Hammer Girl is catchy, to say the least. I especially love the intro that he mentioned in his post or tweet. This would be a blast to experience live. I've been seeing that comment often. I'm itching to check the songs, but I'm really doing my best to not check the songs prior to the album release. When I think that it's only 1 month until the CD releases, it gets a bit easier to deal with these, but otherwise, I feel that I want to check the songs. But still, to everyone just like me, waiting for the CD to drop and not checking the digital singles, we need to be strong. The CD is 1 month away. We just need to wait 1 month away for greatness. Period. So yeah, and it's good to see your feedback, Nez. If you are really excited about Hammer Girl and you are saying that it would be a blast to experience this song live, especially because of the intro, I'm getting quite excited. Because if the intro is as riveting, as exciting as Hayano is, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. So I'm quite excited about this song. Ah, my god. I really need to spoil myself less when it comes to Sumo Saito. But then again, he spoils me a lot whenever he releases a CD. It's actually something that I love in CD format. So I'm quite excited about that. And I hope that time passes faster because I need to get my hands on that CD. And we have Moyu. Moyu says, Sparklu's digital single Bang. It's a new sound from Sparklu, in my opinion. And there is a part where Takuto Yoshinaga showcased his skills where even the members were moved. So I noticed that Sparklu released a digital single out of nowhere. At least for me it was out of nowhere because I was not covering music at that time that the song released. So I missed completely the boat and even the way of telling people that the song is out. So I haven't checked it. I will eventually check the song out. Seeing as Takuto Yoshinaga usually is not a main vocal in the group, he usually does the rap and does some of the backing vocals, and his vocals when he is leading are not really the strongest. I'm quite curious to see how he improved and made the members feel moved with his performance. I'm genuinely curious about, especially because you kept the description really cryptic, so I'm genuinely curious about that and see what Sparklu has to offer. They are a group that I'm enjoying quite a lot in the last couple of years, so I'm really all in to check their music. The last single, You're My Valentine, missed a bit the mark for me, but still had good moments, and I have been enjoying their vocals a whole lot, so why not? I may check these, I do not know when, but I may check these as soon as possible. So thank you very much. And then to wrap up, we have Ao. Ao is back, and of course Ao is going to talk about TSUKIPRO. So welcome back, Ao. And Ao says, I'm not sure if we can call that new, since songs come from as far as 2017, but TSUKIPRO, the animation ending theme song collection, releases on the 26th. It's already out. If Movic decides to continue its streak of unlocking the newest releases, it's possible we'll get bangers like Okarama, Venga, Rival, Above the Best, Hidamari ni Saku, and all the rest of Season 1 endings available for international fans. Even if it's only an excuse for myself and a handful of other international fans to shove TSUKIPRO music down the throats of unsuspecting victims. I am excited for it. Now, Ao, you need to be more specific. Are you excited about the CD, or are you excited about shoving down the throats of unsuspecting victims all the music in the TSUKIPRO franchise? Because that's a really interesting vision that I am getting right now. Kidding aside, because I'm a bit like you, I like to talk about the TSUKIPRO franchise, and I will grab any opportunity to talk about this franchise. I'm quite excited about more people getting access to this CD. The CD is already out. I've listened to it, I've revisited it, and the songs are still as good right now as they were in 2017. So I'm quite excited to see people finding these songs for the very first time. I know that people actually read, for example, the reviews on the website, but some actually only base the reviews on the snippet that you get in the anime series, because that was the only available version of the song that was out there. Then the songs were released in the DVDs, but I believe not many international fans actually purchased the DVDs from anime series, so many missed that opportunity to get the full songs. And now we get the full songs available. Thankfully, back then when the songs were dropping, I had someone helping out and sending the songs, or lending me the songs to review, so I got to review those in full on the website. Right now I can purchase the physical CD, or I can get the streaming version, and I get all those songs to actually experience. So I'm quite excited about that, and I hope that more people dive into this franchise and fall in love with this franchise. It is a fantastic starting point for everyone, because those songs are really the best that those groups had at that time. You do not need actually to go back and check the previous songs if you do not want to, if you are especially new to this franchise. But if you are new to the franchise and you actually find the songs in this CD really good, dive into the songs released prior to that, because it's almost like a ritual, seeing how the group started and how the group ended up sounding like in that specific CD in which you found them, and then seeing everything there is after that. And there is a lot after that specific CD. We are talking about 2017. It's been 7 years. There's more 7 years of music for you to check. I know this is a bit overwhelming, but the music is well worth checking out, and pace yourself listening to the music in the franchise. They have a lot of collections, some collections which have solo songs, others that have duets, and others which are focused on the groups themselves. So this is well worth checking out, this CD, because it is a really good entry point to the TSUKIPRO franchise, honestly. So thank you very much, Ao, for bringing this up to our attention, although I've already spoken about this CD quite a lot in the very first minutes into this episode. So thank you very much for participating. And this is all from you about the best of July 2024. And of course I'm going to suggest something from TSUKIPRO. It's Solids with Okara. One of the very first times in which 2D group was actually blending pop with traditional Japanese music, and in a way that was so grandiose, so impactful, that people were actually stopping and saying, well, wasn't Solids that quartet of those guys that wanted to sound sexy, or sounded sexy? Well, they are. They sound sexy. They are the sexy group in the TSUKIPRO franchise. They are much more now. But at that time they were the sexy group in the TSUKIPRO franchise, and Okarama showed a completely different side to them, showed a more emotional, delicate, and traditionally beautiful side. And this is something that people were not expecting coming from Solids. And honestly, at that time I was not expecting it at all. And I was mesmerized by this song. As soon as it started playing in the anime series, I followed it religiously, because this is a franchise I'm really fond of, one of the very first franchises that I followed, so I had to check the anime, even if the anime is not remarkable, but I had to check it at least to see the characters that I love animated, and listen to more of them, as well as experiencing new songs. And at that time I didn't have that rule of not checking songs or previews prior to reviewing, so I was quite excited because I could watch anything, because I was not worried about spoilers. Right now the story is a bit different. But yeah, Okarama is a beautiful song, a really delicate one. The shamisen and the shakuhachi are strong in there. The shamisen is the stringed instrument, the shakuhachi is the bamboo flute, and both together in a pop tune such as this one, with the electric guitars as well playing, is overwhelming, but in a good way. I love a lot Okarama. I was going to suggest, and I have here written in my notebook, Back on Track, but I backed off from suggesting Back on Track because I love that song. It is an amazingly groovy song, but I feel that the best song in this set of performances by Solids is actually Okarama. It's the most out of character song that you could find for this group in that specific season. Venga as well, but Venga is a bit it lacks the beauty that Okarama has. So I'm going to keep these to Okarama. It is an amazing song, so do check it now. That is available on streaming platforms, so do check it out. And the other song that I'm going to suggest you is, of course, Juto with Uncrushable.
Come on! やる前からセレブレーション勝利の女神がくれたインビテーション優勝意外眼中にない他はせいぜいやっとけイミテーション証明するだけ格の違い本質見抜いた善と悪の違い他のディビジョン覚悟しなこっちやること一つ勝つのみだここまで来りゃもう止められない丸棒の前ではお手上げかいルールが通用しない本当のギャンスターは俺だけだ、裏でこの街を仕切って結果も
I love Mad Trigger Crew a lot in the Hypnosis Mic franchise. They are alongside Fling Posse, my favorite crew. Their music is really groovy. I like it a whole lot, and especially Uncrushable. This is a song that when I went to Yokohama last year, I had it playing in my headphones because I wanted to immerse myself in Yokohama and feel the vibes and see how well the composers actually captured the vibe of Yokohama. And that song really feels good. Really feels good. I do enjoy a whole lot how Wataru Komada does his rapping for this song. I like the sassy vibe that he brings to Juto's performances, and in this case, Uncrushable is one of those songs that has the vibes are so good that you really can't say that, yeah, I prefer a more aggressive style coming from him. No, this kind of style actually fits him really well. He's really groovy, the rap is incisive and charismatic, all at the same time that it is quite sassy, and Wataru Komada conducts himself really well. He has a really good flow as Juto, and his tone of voice really works well with the instrumental. I like this type of instrumental that sounds summerish in some way. That's another reason why I suggested this song for this episode, because we are in the summer still, and this song feels like it's something made for summer. And to drive along the seashore, which is something you can do in Yokohama, and see the sun setting, and think about how this is a city with crime and organizations that are criminal, of course, but still it is so chill and laid back. This is something that I noticed when I went there. The difference between Yokohama and Tokyo is a big one. Yokohama is really chill, which is something that you wouldn't say of Tokyo. Tokyo is not chill. It is cold. People are cold. The vibe is cold. It's completely different. And in Yokohama, you have a chill vibe. People are still a bit cold, but the vibe of the city itself is chill and relaxing, so it fits really well. The whole vibe in Uncrushable is amazing, and I like the lyrics as a whole and the performance by Wataru Komada. So this is a big suggestion of mine in here as one of the songs that I wanted you to check, but I believe that many of you have already checked these. Some of you may not be fans of hip-hop music, some of you may be fans of the Paradox Live franchise and you refuse to listen to music from the Hypnosis Mic franchise. There are fans like these. But regardless, I'm suggesting these because this song is amazing. This is one of my favorites, and whenever I drive or have to go outside and travel, this is a song that I want and I listen to almost constantly. And last year I got the opportunity to be in Yokohama and actually listen to this song while I was in Yokohama, and it was amazing, really amazing. So yeah, I suggest that song to you, so go check it out if you haven't yet, and go revisit it if you like it. And the last entry in here is Inmate with Break Out of Here.
夢の瓦礫の上に立つのを僕活目する歴史や世界の想像これはno joke空気がすりそう歪みと咳がしそうみたいだな大胆なスカイから不完全なものには期待しないふんわりな感情なら視界に入る前にシャットダウンする存在自体愛でない全体的マインドセット無駄のないスペクト俺のテックをこのポケットに入れてテイクオフ全ての壁の色塗り替え壊して作り変える every way
They have a passive-aggressive style of rapping. I can't deny it, which is something that I was not expecting when I came across Inmate in the Paradox Live franchise. Yet again, more rap. This month we have rap galore for you. So this is a song that I enjoy a whole lot. It has a chill, relaxing vibe, almost dreamlike, devoid of everything, but at the same time with a clear, bright, white background. It's a weird vibe, and the rap is really passive-aggressive. But I do enjoy this song a whole lot. I feel it is a perfect fit for summer. That's why I suggest it in this specific episode. And of course, Shuichiba is in this group and is in charge of the melody, mostly, but also his rapping skills are quite amazing, which I was not expecting at the time. I do remember when in the YouTube channel for Paradox Live franchise, they do have some making of videos, and they have a making of video of him recording vocals for Inmate, and the rapper, the professional rapper that was in the production side, he was sat in the sofa watching him perform, was impressed that he recorded his rapping in the first go. So, and in the first go it was already really good. So when rappers look at seiyuu, and especially I love this when rappers comment that about the seiyuu that I love. In the Hypnosis Mic, it was the case of Soma Saito, who was really praised by Zebra, and in this case Shuichiba was really praised by the composer, which whose name I completely forgot, but he was praised for how laser focused was his rapping and how he didn't miss the beat, he didn't miss a thing, and he delivered everything in the first go. So that's quite amazing how efficient he was in his rapping. So to have rappers actually being surprised by voice actors attempting to do what they do professionally, it goes to show just how talented seiyuu are in general. I'm not even talking about seiyuu in specific like I was talking up until now, but when you have professional rappers, especially renowned rappers, complementing the rapping skills of seiyuu, who are not trained in rapping, were never rappers, are just doing that because they were paid to do so, and found, or in some cases found the project interesting and they said, yeah, okay. This is a really high praise, and it shows that seiyuu are really talented. They are not just voicing characters. They are really skilled beyond voicing, dubbing. And rapping is really hard. You need to be really in good command of words, in good command of the rhythm, and not everyone can be a good rapper. So to have seiyuu consistently showcasing that they can be good rappers, because their diction is amazing and their control over their voice is amazing, which are two things that are essential for rappers, they arrive and they impress. And when rappers are really praising them left and right, it's a good sign. So I do enjoy that a whole lot, and that's why I brought as well Inmate's Break Out of Here. It's an amazing song for summer, and it's also a song in which the rapper, the producer behind the song, was actually praising Shuichiba for his performance. So why not bring it here? So this is all about my monthly choice picks. Now let's go check yours. We have from Emerald. Emerald says, so Vanessa, I don't know if you heard about this newly released Josemuke franchise, but it's called 18 Trip, and they have songs for the groups. I was impressed with all the songs I listened to. My favorite song so far is Navy Blue by the unit Lamps. My second and third favs are Useful Resistance and Saiko ni Naruze. Okay. Which are both by the unit Day 2. Fourth fav is Scarlet Scars with Evans. God, this song is such a bop. But once again, I highly recommend listening to all the songs and seeing which is your fave so far. So I have heard of 18 Trip. I don't recall who is in 18 Trip, but I believe that are some of my favorite seiyus are in there. For sure. So I have that franchise to check. This is a game primarily, but it has music, so I may cover it. I do not know how to cover it, so I will be seeing how to do that. And first of all, like I said before in a live stream, I will be checking their music. If I don't like their music, I won't be covering their music, but if I like their music, you may expect reviews of their music sometime soon on the website. So it will depend if I like their music or not, if it will appear on the channel or on the website. But I have heard of the franchise, 18 Trip, and I've noticed some seiyuu sharing that on my timeline, but I don't recall the seiyuu. Still, I will be checking those, and for everyone that is watching this episode, if you don't know about 18 Trip, it's really with an 18, 1, 8 and Trip. Go check them out and let me know if you enjoyed the suggestion by Emerald. I will be checking as well, and hopefully I have something to say either in the next episode or sometime down the line. So thank you very much, Emerald, for your suggestion. Then we have from Moyo. Moyo says, in 2023, My Hero, air quotes, there are two powerful songs with Seiichiro Yamashita showcasing his rap. I am completely behind this specific season of CDs. I have a couple of those still to review, and one of those is My Heroes, so I haven't checked it. People were praising. I had a couple of people on the website asking about the CD and asking about the review. I still haven't reviewed it, but I have so many songs and so many CDs in my backlog that you cannot imagine, really. And things are only getting more clogged in there because I have no time right now to review music, which is even crazier than back then when I had some time to review music. So I have yet to check that. I'm quite curious to see because Seiichiro Yamashita has been showcasing really good rap. One thing that I didn't really like about My Hero's first solo song back then, not from this specific CD, was that the song was too EDM-ish for me. I like EDM music, but with taste, and that didn't have that much taste for me. So I hope that at least the songs here not only showcase his rap with high quality, but also are not way over the top in terms of the EDM sound. But I don't know because I haven't reviewed that CD in specific, and it was already released last year, so we have a problem here. I'm really behind schedule when it comes to some CDs and some franchises, so bear with me. I will eventually arrive at those. I said I was reviewing some CDs and I was reviewing something from some franchises. I haven't yet done that because I haven't found my at least free time to do so. That's the big problem right now. So yeah, and then we have Ao with a long comment, but Ao, I'm going to reply to these comments really simply. But I'm going to read it for everyone because I want everyone to actually check your comment out. So Ao says, I actually have two proposals and one of those is old. Yay! Anyway, Tsukitachi no Memoria, an ending theme for Tsukuta movie Rabbit's Kingdom that got surprise streaming only release in June and will be a physical single in September, I think. It shows what Johnson can do when you allow him to compose an original song for the Procellarum and Six Gravities vocals instead of just rearranging the SQ Alive songs to save money. It's a sore spot for the fandom since only Dear Dreamer and Best Wishes got rearranged for other units. Sorry for the salt. Mixing the fantasy vibe that Johnson excels at. With 12 developed vocals of people who have known and loved these characters for by now more than a decade, with one exception, but even there, gives you a really good piece to complement the fantasy story of the movie and the story of the franchise's first decade in existence. And the second one is Ai o Inoru from Eiichi, voiced by Kotaro Nishiyama, because I recently re-listened to all the Anokoros and realized it might go under the radar for many, which, okay, with Bewitch and Habatakeru Hikari following it is quite understandable. Still, there's something charming about Tarori's vocals when he sings as Eiichi, unlike anything he does in his solo albums. At the same time, the development of him as a singer is there, and I feel that the minimal instrumentalization at the start of the song is used specifically to show us that. Look, he no longer needs the support of instrumental he required at the start. Look at how he matured. Which, considering it's a Nanokoro entry, is the perfect message, actually. As always, Hamatakeshi delivered. Like I said a couple of episodes ago, this thing about the Anokoro CD series is amazing because you actually got seiyuu and characters growing at the same time. And you notice those differences when, for example, with Dai's Drippy Dance, I mentioned that Yuichiro Umehara actually was a bit tone deaf when he started singing with solids, but now he's an amazing singer. And he delivered that amazing performance with Drippy Dance. The same thing can be said about Kotaro Nishiyama as Eiichi and this guy is in Ai o Inoru, because he has grown a lot as a singer. He was a bit tone deaf as well when he started singing, and his tone was not really easy to control. You could tell that he was struggling with control and he didn't know what to do with his voice because he was not comfortable with it. And as he continued to work with this franchise and with the guidance of Hamatakeshi, which is the best guidance you could have, you actually see him improving as a singer. And of course his solo work actually helped him a lot, gaining a lot of confidence to bring into this franchise. So right now he's a really complete singer. I believe within the limitations that he has, he's now a really complete singer. And although his range is not the widest, his technique is not the strongest, he's still a really solid role type of singer. You can have him in a group and he really does his role really well. And solo-wise, he has been impressing quite a lot, so I'm quite curious to see what he has pulled off in that song, seeing as I reviewed some CDs in the Anokoro, but I still have to review all by Quell's members, so I have yet to review those. I have in my backlog. I will eventually dive into those. Do not worry. I may take some time because I don't have that much free time right now to review music, but I eventually want to reach that point and review those songs, including Eiichi's Ai o Inoru. So thank you very much for sending in the suggestions, and thank you very much to everyone for participating in this specific section. So it's time to dive into the next one. This episode is sponsored by all the Hand That Feeds HQ's patrons on Patreon. A big thank you for the support. It's time for Music in the Horizon, so let's check the CDs that I'm most excited about for August 2024, and of course it is in the Versus Ambivalence franchise. I'm excited about Funfair's Feeling and Iluvista's Your Side. This is by far the two CDs I'm most excited about, because this is the Versus Ambivalence franchise. This is a franchise that I have been growing quite fond of. I have all the CDs by Kranv at the moment. I do like the music in this franchise. The lineup is Well, the cast at least is the same for Illuvista and for Funfair, so in a way I already know who is going to sing, and in another way, since they were Versus Ambivalence as a full-on franchise before the group Cranv existed, they were all singing together, so we already know the voices that we are going to listen to with Funfair and Illuvista. Nothing is going to be a surprise in terms of that. When it comes to the style, the music and the vibe, well, that's where things are going to be interesting and new, at least for me. I haven't checked any previews, I know some of you have already, and since this episode is dropping really late in August, some of you may already have listened to the CDs themselves, which I haven't. But yeah, I'm quite excited about those two CDs, especially those two CDs. And the other CD is Jet Red Fury's World's Ending Walker. I'm quite excited about this CD, but I'm quite excited about that. The Dear Vocalist franchise has been awesome, outstanding up until now, and this time around the Headliner CD series has been amazing. I'm quite excited about these. I love Natsuki Hanae's voice, I love TSUKIPRO, and Jet Red Fury have been a band that I'm quite excited to listen to because of their rock sound, which is a mix of style and aggression in the same place. It is not a full-fledged KAGARIBI, but it's also not a Veronica or a Lumière style of band. But they sound really good. I usually like their music. I love Natsuki Hanae's voice, as I said before. So I'm quite excited about this CD, and I hope it lives up to my expectations, which are really, really high right now after what Joshua did with Himitsu. So I'm quite excited to see what he can pull off in here. In this case, TSUKIPRO for Jet Red Fury's World's Ending Walker. So I'm quite excited about these. These are, of course, my picks. So now let's check yours. When it comes to your picks, we have two people here participating. In this case, we have Emerald, and Emerald, you are mirroring me when it comes to the excitement for the Versus Ambivalence franchise, and I love that. Emerald says, I'm looking forward to hearing the full version of Feelin' from Unit Funfair, which is Versus Ambivalence's new group. I listened to the song from the newly released MV so many times already. The song is bright, fun and catchy, but at the same time there's a nostalgic feeling to it. I can't quite put my finger on it. Well, I was expecting this from Funfair, so I believe this is not a spoiler, for me at least, because I saw the cover art and I told myself, yeah, they are going to be bright, catchy and fun. That's the vibe that they have. So this is not a spoiler, necessarily. So I think that in a way I feel validated because I looked at the cover, I felt that, yeah, these are going to be the description that I'm going to give them, and actually you are giving the same description about their song, so I'm not really that far off. I'm quite excited about that CD, but more about Illuvista, because Illuvista sounds more like the group that I will enjoy than Funfair, because they sound a bit more excited, more preppier than what is my taste, and I fear that they will be way too pop for me and bubbly. But let's see how it goes and if they sound really good. Hopefully it's the Versus Ambivalence franchise. What can go wrong? So yeah, thank you very much, Emerald, for your participation. And then we have Moyo with Shuechiba's Contrail. Hehe, you're one of us. And Moyo says, and it's still a bit early, but I am looking forward to Enthusiasm More, which drops in September. Now that we are talking about Shuechiba's Contrail, is a CD that I'm looking forward to a lot. I like Shuechiba's voice. I loved his debut EP, Blessing, and I'm quite excited to see what he does next, seeing as he is writing the lyrics for Contrail, the title track. And the whole concept about the CD, at least visually, is quite interesting. So I'm quite excited about that, and looking forward to what Shuechiba has to offer, knowing that I love his voice right now. And since he is a rock artist or a pop rock artist, I'm even more excited because I know that for sure I will be enjoying his music. So I'm quite excited about that. About Anthos is more, I can't talk much about it. Of course I am excited, but since it is a release for September, I feel it is a bit early to be excited about it, because I'm going to be excited about it in the August episode for sure. So yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about that CD here, because I know that I will be talking about it in the August episode. So thank you very much, Moyo, for participating. So let's go to the next section. And it's time for the Ask Vanessa corner. So let's see what you have for me, because otherwise this is going to be freestyle and I haven't prepared anything. So yeah, we actually have comments. So thankfully, thank God I didn't prepare anything. I was stressing a bit, but I didn't need to prepare anything. So in one end, we have Emerald back again saying, I think 18 Trip music may have slipped a bit under the radar. Even though it's technically not considered a music project or idol franchise, I think it should be considering the characters are idols and they literally release MVs for the songs. Yeah, I know. I noticed that this is a bit of a weird project, because when I found it, when it was really announced, it was saying it is a game and it features music. And I was thinking, well, it is a game and it features music, then I'm not going to cover it because it is a game. It is not a full-fledged music franchise, so why follow these? Because I already follow too many groups, so I need to pick and choose which I'm going to actually follow. But like I said earlier, I will check the franchise out, but I can't promise that I will be reviewing their music, simply because if I don't enjoy one of the songs, it's more than enough for me to not check any other. So that will be quite possibly the problem here. That may happen or not, but it will depend if I like or not the music. I do not know. I haven't checked, and I don't even know the cast. I have the faint idea that I know that some of my favorite seiyus are in this franchise or in this game / music project, but I have to actually check the list out because I don't recall. But once again, thank you very much for putting the spotlight into this project, because this was the very first time that someone actually mentioned 18 Trip. And we have Ao to wrap up this section. Ao says, so the Hanado prepares for the air quotes for Anthos, and while I'm excited for this one as well, at the risk of throwing salt into the fresh injury, do you think it will be ever possible for Loulou, even with the way their story finished, to get their own live? I think we talked about it for a bit before, but how do you imagine it, if that was possible? I remember your idea of bringing a full-on orchestra as a BGM, and I absolutely concur with this one. Yeah. Loulou to perform on stage, it's not with a backing track, almost as if they are karaokeing, which is something that I find really, really awkward. I would love to have a live band at least, and even if they can't bring an orchestra, at least bring a quartet, an ensemble of chamber music. At least one violin, one timpani, for example, one, I don't know. Bring one of each if you cannot bring an orchestra. So I would love for that to happen. For me, Loulou performing on stage only makes sense with an orchestra, and with Hama Takeshi leading the orchestra, because he is the composer and he is the lyricist. So I want that to happen, to have Hama Takeshi on stage leading an orchestra while Loulou perform. I would love to have that happening. It could be the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra. It would work really well, although the Czech Philharmonic Orchestra would be the best one to bring, and that would be an amazing dream come true to see that orchestra working with Loulou on stage live. But still, if they can't, they could still bring an ensemble or bring a chamber music group to help them, and have live drums and live guitars, and Hama Takeshi, if not with an orchestra, Hama Takeshi on the synthesizers playing something and leading the way. I would love to see that. So in this case, I would love to see that happening with Loulou to have an orchestra on stage and see those songs coming, basically being fleshed out. And now that it was announced that an instrumental CD is going to drop, I would love to see, if not a live show with Loulou, at least an orchestra playing only the instrumentals. It would be amazing. It would be really amazing. But still, I want the vocals and the orchestra in the same stage, and to showcase that this type of music, 2D music that not many people take seriously, is actually more impressive, or so as impressive as what people say, real music. And they can deliver performances that will render you speechless. They will make you cry. They will make you feel things that you weren't expecting to feel. If you put aside that label that, well, the artwork is anime style, put that aside, especially people that complain about that, and stop to listen to the music, because the music is amazing, really amazing. This is the type of resistance that I find whenever I suggest music to other people to check. I have a couple of pen pals and I suggest music for them to check, and whenever they see an anime style of cover and they actually stop and say, well, I don't want to listen to anime music. That's not anime music. And if people are a bit more open, they actually get an opportunity to find really amazing music. And I feel that Loulou is the kind of group that you can suggest to anyone, especially people that enjoy classical music, orchestral music, and even a little bit of EDM. You can suggest their music, remove the covers and tell them, listen to this, tell me what you think. And people will actually feel things. And without the prejudice of seeing a cover that is anime style and saying, well, I don't listen to anime music. But yeah, that's kind of resistance that you would normally find with this type of music. And I feel that it is a reason why sometimes music from 2D groups never ends up being too big. Aside from the big hip-hop projects and some of pop projects, we don't have any others becoming really massive, possibly because of that. I would love for people to find their music and even come forward and say, I don't check to the music, I don't even know what that is, but this is amazing. I would love for people to actually come forward and say, I listened to this, I didn't know what this was, and this is amazing. I would love to find those comments and see how music created by someone that has so much experience with orchestral music and OST music, like Takeshi Hama has, because he has worked with Metal Gear Revengeance and he has worked with The Legend of Zelda. He has a lot of experience. He's a really genius composer, and he has shown countless times before that he's amazing. He plays almost all instruments in a composition, besides the strings, of course, and even some of the guitars and drums. But other than that, he really composes the songs from start to finish and creates really amazing songs that have made fans cry, feel things, and be mesmerized with a group that not many people were as receptive when they were announced, but quickly they understood that they were facing what is right now the best 2D group out there. At the same time, it's not necessarily salt into a fresh wound, because once again, if that press release was well translated, this is a temporary stop for Loulou and they may be back, because they said basically until then in Dream Eden. So you basically have the potential of them returning. So we will have to wait. I have my hopes high that they will return. So I'm not going to be too negative in this case, because the translation, the direct translation is temporary halt to their activities. If it is a temporary halt, it's not a full-on ending. So that's my reasoning. At least I'm trying to bring some reasoning to what was worded. So yeah, I would love to have an orchestra. I still stand by it, and I would love for, if that happens someday soon, or if ever, for that to be live streamed to international fans all over the world. I say this because I'm in Portugal, and they only do the live streams until our neighbors, Spain. So we in Portugal need to use a VPN if we want to actually watch that. And I'm not going to use a VPN because the internet starts being slow as hell. So it's not worth it for me to actually pay for a live stream ticket, because my stream will be buffering like crazy because I'm using a VPN to access a country, because the live streams in the Hanadol franchise are not available to those in Portugal, like myself. So I would love for the live stream to be available to everyone, if that happens, and for people in Japan to actually get the opportunity to see them play live with an orchestra. It would be an outstanding experience, a unique experience, because no other 2D group out there has ever performed with a live orchestra. That would be the very first time. Recently, Mamoru Miyano performed with a live orchestra for a special show of his, and it was unbelievably good. So I would love to see 2D groups actually also turning to that and bringing an orchestra to play with them. I know that a solo artist being compared with a 2D group is a bit of a stretch, because Mamoru Miyano sells a lot and Loulou doesn't sell a lot. And Mamoru Miyano has a massive fan base and Loulou doesn't. But still, I would love to see an orchestra. I know it would be really expensive to bring an orchestra to play with them, but I still believe that for the novelty of it, many people will want to check that out. So it makes sense, at least for me, to bring an orchestra to play along to the songs, because I'm still thinking about how outstanding Addictive Whispering can sound like with an orchestra, or even Abortive Flower. There are songs in there that can sound unbelievably good with an orchestra, and maybe even creating new arrangements to songs that are not as orchestra driven or classical driven, and make those classical driven just for a special show. It would be amazing. So once again, Hamatakeshi leading the orchestra, an orchestra behind them, preferably the Czech Philharmonic Orchestra, but if they do not have that available, the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra, because they are equally good, but the Czech is a step ahead, of course. And it would be amazing. Having the 3 seiyuu on stage, Hamatakeshi and an orchestra, it would be amazing. So that's my dream when it comes to Loulou. So hopefully that happens, if ever. If it happens, I want a cut of the tickets from Movik, of course, because I've been suggesting this for a long time. But yeah, kidding aside, thank you very much for participating, Ao, and everyone else for sending your questions and comments, Moyo as well as Emerald. Thank you very much for participating in this episode. Thank you very much for watching this episode until the end. You're a trooper. These are long episodes, and if you are watching those from start to finish, you are one of the very few people that actually do so. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate you, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and are looking forward to the music in August 2024. I know these episodes arrived a bit late, but I hope no more episodes will arrive late this year. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and I believe I've covered everything, and I'll see you guys soon.